All right, man. So if you're willing to change your perspective on this, you can have success a lot faster than you think. Before we get into what this is, I want to ask you a question. What is your dream life worth to you? If you could quit your shitty job and basically do something that you enjoy doing every day, or you could achieve the physique of your dreams and you could be living that sort of future this year instead of 10 years from now, what would that be worth to you? So there is a way that you can have all this a lot sooner, but the thing is, it's going to require some sacrifice. And there's going to be a lot of people out there who are going to try to stop you and convince you not to do this. And even a part of yourself, probably, when I said the word sacrifice, and even just mentioning the word sacrifice is resisting. So about a year ago now, I was really getting into the online business space, really trying to kind of figure out like just kind of try to understand business in general. Okay. And there was this creator that I had been following for a while, and they kind of had inspired me to take some action. And they had some digital products that they were selling that were on like a sale, for like a limited time sale. It was like one of those like 24-hour sales or something. And at the time I was like debating, like, should I get it? Should I not get it? And it was around the specific goal that I wanted to achieve, which was, starting an online business. And I was like, should I get it? Should I not get it? I remember debating for like hours because it was late at night, and at 12 o'clock, the sale was going to end like right at 12. And I was like debating, I'm like, oh, should I buy this? Should I not buy this? I mean, it was kind of expensive. It was, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It was, I think, around maybe close to like $1,000 at the time, which, that was a decent amount of money for me. And, like I was just debating, should I do it? Should I not do it? And I ended up deciding not to do it. The problem with this was that it was a major mistake that I didn't understand at the time, which was, if I wanted to get to my goal, right? If I wanted to achieve my goal of starting business faster, the big mistake I made that night when I decided not to go through with purchasing those digital products was that now it was going to take me longer to get to where I wanted to go. If I wanted to fast track my success and get to where I wanted to be sooner, then what I needed to do was to make that sacrifice, take some of the money that I had earned, right? And actually pass it on to someone else, and in return get the knowledge that I needed. You see, the quickest way for you to get where you want to go, okay, and the best way to fast track your success that I found so far is you need to find people who have achieved what you've achieved and are living the life that you want, and you just need to basically follow what they did. Like, it's not even that complicated, right? It's always like everyone makes it so fucking complicated, but really the only thing you need to do is find people who are living the lifestyle that you live, right? That you want to live, and have achieved the goal that you want to achieve. And then you just basically take the money, whatever extra money you have, and you buy their digital products, you buy the physical products, you buy their coaching if they're offering it, and you buy what they have to offer in respect to the goal that you want. So if you're trying to start up a specific type of business, right, and you find someone who has the experience and who has achieved what you want to achieve, it's simple. You just take the money and you buy what they have to offer, because it's going to give you the knowledge that you need to fast track your success. So the main issue with this, the main thing that comes up, is that your ego and your brain try to stop you from doing this. Like that night, one of the main things that I was thinking was like, well, I could just save this money, right? I could save this money and I could just figure this out on my own. I could probably just figure this out on my own. I could just go online, start doing research, look at different things, and try to piece it all together on my own and just save the money. And then I can just, get the results that, I want by myself. The problem with this is that you aren't at that level yet. And so you may be able to do this. This may be true. You may actually be able to find all that information. You may be able to piece it together in a way that makes sense. But if you're even able to do this, which a lot of people aren't and don't have the discipline or even the time, right? Like, how do you find the time to do all that? You aren't going to do it in a short amount of time. It's going to take you a long time. So you're adding on months on like, at very least, it's going to be months, if not years, that you're going to be adding on to your journey of getting to that goal that you want. When you could simply just find someone who has provided value to you, right? And that you relate to and trust. Like, especially with the internet now, we have so many different people that you can follow, that you relate to, that you look up to, or that you trust, and you've seen like either their content or you've seen their business and you really like it. And they're offering a chance for you to be educated by them and sharing their knowledge of how they got to where they got to. And the only thing that you need to do is to basically quiet your ego and stop thinking that you can figure this out on your own with no help. And just think rationally about the fact that if you can get to where you want to go, 3 times faster, 2 times faster, then that's well worth whatever the amount of money that they're charging you for. Because time is the one thing that we can't get back. You can make, a shit ton of money in a month, right? If you have the appropriate skills, you can make $1 million in 6 months, but you can't ever get back that year you spent trying to figure out things that you could have just simply, bought from somebody else and learned within a month. It's like, do you want to take a full year trying to figure this all out by yourself just because your pride and your ego are standing in your way? Or do you want to actually just use your logical brain and be like, okay, I want to get to this point. Let me get there, years faster by just making a sacrifice and spending some money from somebody who has already given me value and that I trust. So I don't know if you know who he is, but there's this guy, Alex Hormozy. He's a very well-established and successful entrepreneur, and he has a YouTube channel with I think 1 million subscribers or something like that. And one of the quotes that he says that relates really well to this is that when you're a beginner, right, you're a beginner entrepreneur or you're trying to become successful, is the thing that you're struggling with is ignorance, a lack of knowledge. And so he says that you need to pay down the time tax of ignorance, and you need to do it as fast as you can. Okay. And what that means is that right now you have a goal that's up here. Okay. It's up here. It's too high for you in the sense of you're not there yet. You don't have the knowledge and you're down here. And that in between space is the knowledge that you need to gain. And it's the ignorance that you have. And so when he says this is you need to pay it down, is because when you have ignorance, there is a amount of time that's being spent, right? Where you could be becoming successful and you're not. And so the time tax is there's time going by, and your ignorance is your lack of knowledge in relation to being able to achieve your goal. So if you want to become successful faster, right? And you want to fast track your success, the best way to do this is by following his quote, which is to pay down the time tax of ignorance and to do it as fast as you can, because you can't create more time. Time is running out. And so the way to do this is that you continually invest in yourself. You continually take your money and you buy books, you buy courses, you buy coaching from people who have achieved what you want. And what that does is you're taking your money and you're paying down the time tax, meaning you're taking the money that you've earned, right? And you're paying down the amount of time it takes for you to get to where you want to go, which is the most important thing, right? Because would you rather be successful after 50 years of trying to do something, and you're old now and you're successful? Okay, cool. Or you could be successful and young. But the difference there is that how much time do you want to spend trying to figure out things when you could be going out there and, buying that knowledge from other people who have already become successful. And the thing that, in my story, what I'm trying to kind of get across was not to let that ignorance, that level of ignorance you have, don't let your ego and your pride get in the way of thinking I can go out there and just figure this out on my own, or I can go find the information. Don't let that get in the way of your success, because that is going to literally add on years to your journey. This is going to be a continual lifestyle. If you adopt this mindset and changing your perspective around this is going to be something that you do forever, right? So if you let those things get in the way of it, it's going to take you so much longer on anything that you want to achieve. The other really interesting thing is that for myself, and maybe even you watching this video, is that we were kind of brought up in a society where going to college and spending tens of thousands of dollars on information that was outdated in relation to the marketplace and taught by people who either weren't successful in the field that they were teaching or just not really passionate about it was normal, right? It's normal to go and get a bachelor's degree for some random field of study that isn't really applicable to our marketplace. And a lot of times, for example, even in business classes in college, the professors you have, they're not even successful entrepreneurs. Right? They didn't even have any exits with the company or run any, they weren't CEOs or anything. So you're learning from people who aren't even really haven't even done what you want to do. And so that's the great thing about the internet now, is that it's opened it up so that you can literally find the people who have done exactly what you want to do and literally just learn from them. And yeah, it's going to cost some money, but so what? That's going to literally cut down the time that it takes you to get to where you want to go. And I know for myself, when I was in college very briefly, because I dropped out, it really just wasn't for me. one of the things that main issues I had was that it wasn't tailored. It wasn't tailored specifically enough to my goals, right? It wasn't tailored specifically to my goals, and the teachers were not horrible or anything, but they weren't. They just weren't like working in a way. It wasn't working for me in that sense of like the class was very broad and general. It wasn't very like specific knowledge of what I needed to overcome hurdles, and um, it was very slow in the sense of I couldn't go at the pace I wanted to go at. It was like the whole class kind of moved at like this pace. And so you can bypass all of that. If you're not taking the route of going to college, if you're not doing the traditional thing of going and getting a degree, that's fine. But don't now neglect the idea of education, of self-education. Because if you're not going down the route of college and doing it the traditional way and getting like the degree, I think that's good because you see what happens when a lot of times you can't even get a job and then you end up laden with all this debt. But don't take the approach of, all right, I'm not going to college, so I'm not, I'm not going to like self-educate. Like you need to keep educating and keep learning. And that includes actually spending money, right? Like free videos like the one you're watching right now is great, but you need to actually spend money too on specific like courses and coaching and different things that will help you get to the exact point that you want to get to. I started doing this more. I used to be much more on the side of, trying to figure it out on my own. And I've always kind of been that way, but I've been realizing more and more that the more you can pay down that time tax of ignorance, like Alex Hormozy says, the faster you start moving, right? The faster you start going through time because you're skipping over all these lessons that other people have learned, right? You can just basically take the knowledge and the lessons that everyone else has learned, they condense it into some sort of like product or coaching, and you just use it. You just consume it and just apply it to your own journey. And then bam, you just like literally taken off 5 years of what it would have taken you. So that's just amazing. It's an amazing thing. And I think that we should intentionally try to use that as a sort of springboard for our success and trying to fast track where we can be, because it's a great opportunity, and why not do it? Like that's one of the best places you can spend your money is into, spending it on yourself. Like you are the best asset that you could be putting your money into is yourself and your knowledge and education. And so since I started doing this, I started spending more money on courses and coaching on like specific things related to like the exact goal that I want. I'm not saying like go out there and just do buy some like vague courses on random things. I'm saying like that are specifically within your interests and that are helping you solve problems. I think when you're willing to invest in what you say you want in terms of, I'm willing to actually take my money, right, my stored value, which is your cash, your savings or whatever, and actually put it into and invest it into and towards like the goals that you want, there's almost something that happens within just like reality and like the universe and your network where people are starting to see, and like in reality it's like starting to see that you're actually investing where you say you want, right? Like you say you want a goal, you're actually putting money into that, and that's like a big deal because you're really following through with your commitment. It's like making a commitment to what you want. And so when you make commitments and sacrifice, I think that reality and like the universe and your network is seeing this, and it really helps push you forward and just become successful so much faster. So this is my take right now on actually taking your money, making sacrifices, and spending it to pay down that time tax. And don't let your ego and your pride basically keep you in ignorance, and instead humble yourself and allow yourself to be able to learn from those who have achieved what you want, and allow yourself to be mentored by people, and be willing to take that money, invest it into yourself, invest it into your education, and continue to be active like that. And before you know it, you're going to have insane success. So that's all I want to say for today. Hopefully this video will help you in some way. Maybe you're in that position right now. Maybe you're not. Maybe you haven't gotten there yet. But I know for myself, I was definitely stuck in this position of letting my ego and pride kind of get in the way of fast tracking me in terms of my learning and abilities. So hopefully you don't let that happen. But anyways, that's it for today. Hopefully, hopefully you found this useful. And if you're interested in more of this type of content, be sure to subscribe. And I will see you next time. Peace out.